FPL game week 1 is complete and I have finished with 56 points. I'm on or around the average, but you know what? For game week 1, I will take that. It's always difficult starting fantasy football. You don't know who's quite going to be in those starting lineups, and I have fallen victim to that. But running through my team, Alisson Becker in goal, 7 points, a clean sheet for Liverpool after they picked up a 2-0 victory against Premier League newcomers Ipswich. In defence, William Saliba, 6 points, clean sheet. Very happy to see that. Mikel Arteta's side picking up a comfortable 2-0 victory. The really frustrating one for me, Kieran Trippier did not feature at all for Newcastle in their opening game of the season. I thought he would start, as did a lot of other managers. He has only recently come back from the Euros and hasn't traded too much with Newcastle. I would expect Trippier to be back in next week. Added layer of frustration is that none of my bench players featured either. So I've had to accept a pure blank with Kieran Trippier. Frustrating, but it is what it is. Vitaly Mykolenko is my other defender. He's given me 1 point after Everton had a pretty miserable start to their Premier League campaign, losing 3-0 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. Now in midfield, I went for a slightly risky setup and it hasn't really paid off. Apart from Mohamed Salah, who started the season really well as he always does. Salah getting me 14 points, so I'm very happy about that, and that's kind of made up for the other lack of points in the rest of my midfield. Emile Smith-Rowe, I've started him. Fulham have got a good run of fixtures coming up. He's got me 3 points. He played well against Manchester United, but Fulham falling to a 1-0 defeat at Old Trafford, so not too much to shout about there. Callum Hudson-Odoi at Nottingham Forest didn't play the full game and Forest getting a draw. Christopher Nkunku, a little bit frustrating. I toyed between Nkunku and Palmer. Neither of them did anything for Chelsea against Manchester City in their 2-0 defeat. Nkunku played just 58 minutes, which was really annoying because if he just played a couple more, I would have got an extra point. But he looked threatening and I think he will do good for Chelsea. So I'm going to stick with him going into the next game week number 2 as Chelsea have a nice run of fixtures coming up. But I will need Nkunku to play more minutes and contribute towards assists and goals. The other player who did well in my midfield is Alejandro Garnacho. Now, he didn't start for Manchester United, but I think he might creep into the starting 11 for United moving forward. He contributed really well in the Community Shield, scoring a goal, and he also produced an assist in the 1-0 victory against Fulham. Garnacho is someone that is a cheap, affordable player and will constantly provide assists and chip in with goals for United. I'm hoping Erik ten Hag will start to input Garnacho for that starting 11. Now up top, I went with Alexander Isak as my captain. He didn't score, but he did get an assist. So I've got 10 points for that and I can't really complain too much. He didn't play the full 90 though, which is also a little bit frustrating. I took a slight risk thinking that Newcastle would bag a load of goals against Southampton, but they did pretty well, Southampton, to restrict Newcastle and only fall to a 1-0 defeat. And then Erling Haaland, I bought him in late and I'm glad I did because he did score against Chelsea. I was toying between Haaland or one of the other strikers like an Ollie Watkins, and I'm glad I went with Haaland. I could have captained him, but that's okay. He's got me 7 points, goal scorer, and he will be my captain going into game week number 2 because Man City face Ipswich. So 56 points puts me 4th in my FPL league and I'm pretty happy with that start. I've got a little bit of catching up to do, but I'm confident that I can chase down the people above me in the next couple of game weeks. Going into game week number 2 and 3, what changes are managers going to be making and what changes am I going to make? I've got 1 free transfer, but I think I'm just going to roll this over because I don't feel the need for any impulsive changes at this point. This time last season, I made about 4 changes to my team, took a big hit. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more patient this year. Go into game week 2 with confidence. Looking at my team's fixtures for next week, Liverpool are home to Brentford, so I'm hopeful that they can keep another clean sheet. Newcastle are away to Bournemouth, and I'm hoping Kieran Trippier just needs to start that game. I'm pretty sure he will at least feature, if not start, for Newcastle. Arsenal are away to Aston Villa, which is going to be a tough game. William Saliba, I'm hoping, can keep a clean sheet, but I'm not 100% confident in that, although Arsenal do look really tight at the back this season. And then Everton, Vitaly Mykolenko away to Tottenham. This is going to be a really tough game, especially after they lost 3-0 in the opening game of the season. I might swap Vitaly Mykolenko out for someone like an Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is on my bench playing for West Ham United. He didn't play in game week number 1, but I think he might feature in game week 2. West Ham up against Crystal Palace, so I think he stands a higher chance of getting points over Mykolenko, but I'll make a decision on that. Looking at my midfield, Emile Smith-Rowe home to Leicester. I'm confident confident that he'll be able to produce some points. Christopher Nkunku away to Wolves. I think this is a good opportunity for Chelsea to pick up their first points of the season, and Nkunku will feature yet again. Callum Hudson-Odoi for Nottingham Forest away to Southampton. A good chance for Forest to try and score some goals, and Hudson-Odoi will play a part in that. Mohamed Salah home to Brentford. Now he's a potential captain option for this game. He started the season well, so I'll make a decision on who should hold the armband. And then Alejandro Garnacho away to Brighton. Now Brighton obviously started really well this season. That's going to be a good game against United. I can see it being quite high scoring, and I'm hoping Garnacho can start that game. And then looking up top, I've got Alexander Isak, who is playing away to Bournemouth for Newcastle. I'm hoping that he can contribute a little more, although he won't have the armband going into game week 2 for me, because the armband will be going to Erling Haaland, who is playing against Ipswich. This could be an opportunity for Haaland to score his first hat-trick, bag some goals, get a load of points, and I'll be a very happy manager. So good luck to everyone in game week 2. Check in on my channel this time next week to see how I've done. Let's hope for more great football. Let's hope for lots of points for WIDDLY. Let's go.